Are you ready to learn, explore, discover, and have fun while watching? Come and join us as we bring you more learnings and ideas to share. I'm Teacher Calai, and welcome to my channel. In the previous lesson, you have learned to evaluate narratives based on how the author developed elements such as character and setting of the heroes and villains. Today, you will learn to evaluate narratives based on how the author developed the elements such as theme and point of view. Now let us begin with the theme. When we say theme, this refers to the underlying insight, the moral or idea that the writer is expressing through the story. It is often thought of as the message of the story. What is theme for? Theme is what the story teaches its readers. It is also the lesson that the author wants us to learn from the story. It is the central message of a literary work. And last, it tells us what we should and we should not do to ensure happiness and success in our lives. The following are important points to remember when writing a theme. First, for a better understanding, themes are best written in a complete sentence. Remember, there's what we call thematic concept and thematic statement. What's the difference? Let us find out. When we say thematic concept, this refers to what a reader understands the work to be about. Usually, it is an abstract concept, such as love, forgiveness, bravery, happiness, heroism, sacrifice, and justice. However, thematic statement refers to what the work says about that subject in question. Usually, it is a sentence highlighting the argument of the piece of literature. Example, love cannot be bought, and war and peace. To understand more about it, remember that a good thematic statement is not a theme. It's an opinion or moral that concerns a theme. Let's say, for example, the word love. Love is not a thematic statement. But when we say love conquers all, then this is an example of thematic statement. A good thematic statement is not a definition. It does more than simply explain the meaning of a theme. Example, when we say love is the affection we feel for others, definitely this is not a thematic statement. But when we say love can blind us to the flaws in our relationships, then this is a thematic statement. Lastly, a good thematic statement is not a story specific. Rather, it conveys a more universal message. Example, Romeo and Juliet's love is destructive. This is not a thematic statement. But when we say star-crossed love can both heal and destroy, then this is a thematic statement. The other points to remember when writing a theme are: second, it does not contain character names. Third, a theme is true to everyone. Fourth, don't include specific plot points of the story. Fifth, don't be obvious. Sixth, don't make it a piece of advice. Seventh, don't use cliché. A cliché is a phrase or expression that has been used so often that is no longer original or interesting. It is something that is so commonly used in books, stories, etc., that is no longer effective. And last, number 8, themes avoid absolute terms such as all, none, everything, and always. Aside from theme, a narrative has an element called point of view. Point of view is the mode of narration that an author employs to let the readers hear and see what takes place in a story, poem, or essay. It also refers to the perspective that the narrator holds in relation to the events of the story. Narrator is the person telling a story. He is the one describing what is happening or what goes into a scene of the story. There are three main types of point of view. 1. First person. The author is involved in the story. He or she may be the main character or one of the characters. The pronoun I and we are used. Examples: I was crying one morning when my mother asked, "What's happening to you?" He came out of nowhere. Too bad for him though, I only had $5 in my bag. I was desperate for something to eat. Judging by her expensive-looking shoes, I figured she could afford to part with her purse. Next is second person. It is commonly used in instructional writing. It places the reader on the playing field by putting them in the position of the protagonist. It doesn't also allow the narrator as much freedom as first person and third person. The pronoun you is used. Try to look at these examples. You have friends who actually care about you and speak the language of the inner self. You have avoided them of late. Your soul is as disheveled as your apartment, and until you can clean it up a little, you don't want to invite anyone inside. You should pack lightly when you go backpacking. You will have a good trip if you are aware of the safety precautions. And finally, the third person, wherein the author or narrator is not involved in the story. He or she is only a witness. He or she knows the thoughts and feelings of the characters, and the pronouns he, she, it, and they are used. Example: Jason felt like he has done something good for others. He wanted to do more to give assistance to those who are in need. Once again, that in this video, we focused on the other elements of the story or narrative. We have theme, the underlying insight, the moral or idea that the writer is expressing through the story, and the point of view, the perspective that the narrator holds in relation to the events of the story. For us to understand more about this topic, let's try this practice. You are going to evaluate the theme in the short narratives by choosing the correct thematic statement. Are you ready? Number 1. The Forgiving Crocodile. The Forgiving Crocodile talks about a family of crocodile and an old woman. The old woman asked favor from the mother crocodile, Buwahaya, to spare her life, and in return, she would take care of her two little babies. However, Aling Sita did not value their agreement. She sat all day ignoring the two little crocodiles. Buhawaya discovered what Aling Sita has been doing, so she gathered poisonous snakes for Aling Sita instead of delicious food and gave them to her. Aling Sita was frightened and asked for forgiveness from what she has done. From then on, Aling Sita took good care of Buhawaya's babies. Question: which is the best way to write the theme? A. Forgiveness. B. Forgiveness is great. C. Fulfill the agreement made with someone. Or D. Forgive someone who did something bad to you. Number 2. The Crab and the Spider. One day, a crab wanted to look for a spider for its food. After some time, the crab rolled over a sugarcane mill and peeped inside, but there was no spider. He went to the mountain and found a tree. He climbed the tree to look for a spider, but there was none. He went to the other side of the mountain and saw a hole. He was very happy to see two spiders. The two spiders ran away and pretended to jump into a cooking pan with boiling water. Without a second thought, the crab also jumped into the pan. So the crab was boiled and the two spiders went back home. Question: what theme can we get from the story? A. Trust no one. B. Don't be in a hurry. C. Think twice before finding food. Or D. Recklessness leads to destruction. Number 3. The Praying Mantis. One sunny day, there was a praying mantis who was about to lay egg. She went to look for a place that no one could see. She found a path where there were footprints of a little bird named Igwi. She followed the footprints, but unfortunately the footprints could no longer be seen when the bird ran on the water. She left the place and went back. At noon, she decided to go to the forest to continue looking for a nest. While she was walking, her feet were wounded and called for help. Igwi came and treated her feet. She thanked Igwi and finally climbed the tree. Question: what is the most appropriate main theme of the story? A. It's okay to ask for help. B. Ask help. C. Help someone who is in need. Or D. Igwi is a helpful bird. At this time, you are going to write first, second, or third to show the point of view from which the piece has been written. Write your answer on your piece of paper. Number 4. In Japan, more than 200 years ago, a lonely little boy grew up to be a great man. His name was Yataro Kobayashi. Yataro has been left motherless at an early age, and his father, though kind, was often too busy to take notice of him. Number 5. By this time, Darkness was coming on, and weakened and tired as I was, I lay down and fell asleep on the grass. When I awakened, it was daylight. I was lying on my back, and when I tried to rise, I could not. Number 6. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by the size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. And last, number 7. I'm okay now that the water's back in the ocean. Did you know that water covers 71% of the Earth's surface? 328 million cubic miles to be exact. That's 1,361,000,000 cubic kilometers. Besides, why start moving it now when it's been around almost forever? And that's no fish story. The first ocean water came from the vapor in the atmosphere and water in rocks released during the Earth's formation. You don't go much further into the past than that. If you are done and sure to your answers, then I guess it's time to pass your paper to your teacher. Good luck! And that ends our discussion for this topic. I'm Teacher Calai. Please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more updated videos and learnings on my channel.